Hi guys, and welcome back. Mid-Ohio racetrack in the GT3s. This week racing the Hurricane, which seemed to be the only car I could get to work around here. Started out with the Porsche and it didn't go well. This was a real learning curve this week. This track, things about it that I enjoy and things about it that I absolutely hate. So, race one, just on the warm-up lap here. Everyone, yeah, that nearly happened. Mercedes just stopped dead in front of me, and I cat-like reflexes to get around that one. Really got to scrub this Lambo in hard. The brakes especially. Brakes really take time to warm up in this car. And then, yeah, here we are at the end of the warm-up lap. And so this is where everyone just starts sort of getting ready to take their places. There, just watch that McLaren on the right there. He decides all of a sudden he needs to apex the corner, and yeah, so a 4X, and the race hasn't even started. So he's quite mad at me about that, blaming me for it flashing his lights. But that's fine. Anyway, launch off a line. So it's just us front five really. McLaren backs off a little bit for the first bend, and then see how quickly I'm closing on this front group. So obviously we're all on cold tyres. The McLaren comes flying up behind me. He's really looking to pile some pressure on and get to me. I really don't know why he's so upset, you know. Anyway, so breaking down to turn 4 here, Mercedes goes really deep, barely keeps it on the track. I duck underneath him and round we go. So this track, yeah, so well, let's start with the good points of this track. If you want to learn how to drive a new car, this track is fantastic. This track will test pretty much everything on a car, because it punishes you so hard for every mistake you make. If you trail brake a corner slightly wrong, you will be punished for it in terms of your time. So it's a really good reflection of how well you know a car is getting a good lap time on this track. It's very flowy. One corner literally flows from one to the other. That's one of the reasons why the Hurricane I found works so well around here, because it just changes direction so wonderfully. The bad side of this track is because it is a very flowy track, because it's very much a one-line track, there's only really two places you can really get by anyone. One is at turn 2 at the hairpin just been passed, and this is turn 4 down here, and this is the next one, and that's really about it. And so what happens is you spend your time just waiting for people to make a mistake or trying to force a mistake out of them to get by them, because you just don't get very good overtaking opportunity, especially when you're fighting up the sharp end. With some of the front guys who were actually quite quick. I mean, this is low split. Barely anyone seems to really race the track. There's been at most, I think I saw 3 splits once. The rest is normally 2 splits, so you're normally either in the bottom or the top. This is a few laps later. As you can see, I've dumped off that Mercedes. He's gone. McLaren as well. And those 2 Porsches, I didn't really want to chase them down, actually, to be brutally honest. I had such a bad start to this track in the week. Self spins and everything else that happens. More of which you'll see in the second race. We've got 3 races here on this video. But yeah, I didn't want to chase the Porsches down simply because finishing in 3rd place with, I think I had 6 incident points at the end of this race. The initial hit in the safety car, I think I had 2 off tracks. That was honestly feeling like a win this week on this track, because as I say, it just punishes you so hard for every mistake. There we go. Just touch the grass slightly and off you go. So yeah, it was but learned a lot about GT3 racing this week, especially you know, trail braking especially. I think is something I've really improved on this week. Something I can hopefully carry forward into the next season, starting quite soon now. Anyway, so that was race 1. This is race 2. So qualified in 4th, 2 Porsches and another Huracan. So we all go in here quite respectfully. Everyone just, you know, a bit of a break me corner from the other Huracan there. Up to turn 2. I go to the inside. We give each other plenty of space, and then kablam! All of a sudden, Aston Martin out of nowhere, this red and white thing on the right of me coming across front. So yeah, get past him, and immediately I get told I've got wheel damage, and as you can see by the steering wheel, don't know what happened with the gear change there, but anyway, so hard to really tell how the car was really feeling at this moment. Obviously the steering wheel's out, so that automatically makes it feel weird, because obviously we're still on cold tyres, so the car's feeling, you know, the Huracan's a twitchy car anyway sometimes, so it was just feeling a little bit extra twitchy, but I was staying ahead of the McLaren who was behind me, so I wasn't overly worried right at this moment in time, because just while the car warms up, settles in, I'll see how we are doing in a couple of laps time. But yeah, because I had the choice now of either pit and take effectively that penalty, or try and stick it out. I didn't really want to pit because it's not just the time it takes to go and get the tyres, that's one lot of time, it's the next lot of time you've got to spend heating them up again. And at this point here, this is a few laps later, my tyres are, it's my back right tyre, it's feeling really cooked up here. And see they Mercedes ahead there has gone ahead of the green Porsche there, but yeah, the back right tyre feels like it's like cambered more than the other tyres, like I'm running not on the whole tyre, like I'm running almost on one edge of it slightly, and it's starting to overheat. And see Porsche spins out there, so somehow I'm in 3rd place now, but this McLaren behind me has now got his pace, and he's on me, and I'm really struggling to hold together. Every left-hander is a real struggle to keep the car at any decent pace whatsoever. It's not horrendous, but it's pretty bad. In the end, I decide I'm not going to fight with this guy about it, so I pull over to the right here and I roll off the throttle and I tell him to go by. He says, "Oh no, it's good racing," and I say, "Look, dude, my car's damaged and I can't race like this." So I give up third place to him, and yeah, I still feel this was the right thing to do, as opposed to trying to fight the guy. You can already see the gap he's putting on me, so he can run at way faster pace than I can. And the thing is, I'm still creating a gap from the cars who were behind us, so I'm not really under too much threat. So, some of them did start to catch up to me near the end. You'll see in just a second here. Because this was how the race just sort of finished now. So here we are. This is the last. This was the car behind me as we came across the finish line. So yeah, and then here is the initial crash at turn 2. So here is the Aston Martin. There's me ahead of the Mercedes. So I pull out to the right here on the Hurricane, and he just, yeah, absolutely fires it in there. Mercedes gives him a shove. I managed to get my foot down and get past this guy. He did actually, I think, end up retiring his car. I think he just had sustained quite a bit of damage. This is poor Mikel, the guy who sadly received the majority of that clout. So you can see I get in alongside him, we give each other enough room, and bang. But there is a whole show that unfolds in front of him. Then you see 911 sliding off everywhere. He gets clouted again. Whole back end of his car is missing. Rear right wheel is obliterated. He tried to run to see what he could do, but the car was just so badly damaged. So this is start of race 3. There's me getting rear-ended. Maybe I did brake a little bit too heavily there, so no big deal. But then it wasn't as bad as what this guy did. So yeah, this is the warm-up lap, and there's already stuff like this going on. Yeah, this guy here in the Aston here, he was not happy. His whole front bumper's missing, and you know, your race is pretty much over at that point. Before you've even started and you haven't done anything wrong. So here we go. So we fire off, and it's mainly us front 4 here who pretty much break up into 2 groups here. So here's me chasing 911 again. So we're on cold tyres, we're just taking it easy into these first couple of corners, but the 911 lights it up, and I move into P2, and the Mercedes behind me. Now the guy who's actually leading this race, now I know, unless this guy makes a mistake, I'm never going to catch this guy. He out-qualified me by a clear second, I think it was. So I know my real race here is against the Mercedes. Mercedes is being, you know, he's quite aggressive at the minute, but that's okay. Hopefully I can just put some distance between him and me once the car starts to warm up a bit. So this is about lap 5, I think it is. So things have not gone quite so well. Mercedes is right on me. He goes to the outside. I hold the middle to keep myself as wide as possible. But good clean racing. No one gets any bangs or anything like that. I get the power on. Fires out the corner. Go to the middle here for the shorter line, then he moves again to the outside. I guard the middle, so quite happy with that. I do outbrake him in there. He tries to switch back. I go turn into the left to cover, and he tapped me. Oh, it was the smallest amount. It was the smallest amount. But look at what he does here. Knowing how he got that place, he gives it straight back to me. And this now becomes an absolute pleasure to race against someone like this. When they make a mistake, they own it. Give you that place straight back. It's such a pleasure to race against people who behave like that, because now I don't care if I do lose to him, even if he beats me fair and square. Good on him. I don't mind, because I love to see that sort of sportsmanship. So I managed to stay ahead of the Mercedes for a couple of laps here, and then coming up to the turn 2 here, hard on the brakes, and I get it all wrong. Yep, off the track, and Mercedes goes by. So now I've got to try and get back, which of course on this track it's really tricky. Now the only thing I can hope for is that in the Mercedes, because it is a rear-wheel drive front engine car, they can be prone to light the back end up a bit much sometimes, especially at this point, and he does so there, but he controls it perfectly. So I'm almost just hoping he's going to make a mistake, because I don't think I've got quite enough pace to actually catch up and get a move on him as well, because at the same time, as much as his tyres are falling off, so are mine. So I think this is the last 2 laps here. So up to turn 2, I get real good late brake in there. He does go ever so slightly wide and misses the apex. So now now hopefully I'm on for a move, but I don't know if I'm quite there. I try and fake him to the centre, but he carries real good pace in there, and I can't get by. He covers the inside of turn 5 really well. So down to this bit here with the weird drop off, and he lights it up, and I nearly get by him, but I have to roll off the throttle to not crash into him. We bang doors a little bit, we turn in, I let him actually overrun, I undercut him, and then oh, he gets back ahead of me. I could have turned in there. You'll see this again here, yeah. So that's where he gets it sideways. I had to roll the throttle to not hit him, but we banged doors anyway there. I'm on the outside, he goes hard in, I go through. I could have turned in, but it probably would have ended up in an accident. But really great bit of racing that was. This is the last lap now, and literally unless I see a mistake from him, I know it's not really going to happen, and I don't really want to force anything, because it's been really nice to race against him. Try and fake him out to the centre a little bit there. It does work slightly because he does run wide, but my corner is not quite good enough. I do close up a little bit, but not enough to really get close, and that low end grunt of that Mercedes just fires him out. Again, I couldn't throw him off too much. He did overslow a little bit there, so I did have to really jump on the brakes to avoid hitting him, because the last thing I wanted to do is to knock him off in the same place where he knocks me. So now my last hope is that he fluffs it again here, but I know he's going to be bang on it, and he doesn't. He's absolutely perfect on his throttle control there. And so I have to take third place. Go for an opportunity here, but the gap doesn't really open, so it's not there. But a great race. Some really great moments at this track. It's just not a great track for racing, that's all, because you just can't get those passes done sometimes. And but yeah, I don't know if I'll return to this track, but it was fun in its own way. We'll give each other a few engine revs here. So that is pretty much the racing concluded for this season. Probably going to stay with the GT3s. I've very much enjoyed them. Yeah, Lucas, the guy in the Mercedes here. Yeah, an absolute pleasure to race against him. Hope I see him on the track again soon, and hopefully see you guys all soon. Cheers.